I will call the meeting to order. First order of business, I would like to welcome Megan Weaver to the Putnam County Planning Commission. Megan is joining us from District 4, and she is a district appointee appointed by Commission Chairman Larry Harvey. So we're going to take it easy on you today. Maybe next time, but that's it. Mr. Troiano, do you have something you'd like to announce?
If I may, Madam Chair?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the Planning Commission. Jim Troiano with Putnam County Planning and Development, and of course our esteemed attorney here at the end of the table, or the dais. I would like to bring a message from Chairman Harvey. I know you heard in an email, but potentially in the paper. The board and the chairman himself appreciates the hard work that this Planning Commission did to hear the Internet Cafe ordinance that was presented. It was heard yesterday. It will be coming back to us for a banning to some degree of simulated gambling, but he wanted to make sure that you heard it from me, and you'll hear it from him, I'm sure, when you all have an opportunity to see him. Again, the thanks for the hard work and for the citizens that came forward to the Planning Commission meeting to address that topic. So I thought it was very important, and I appreciate you allowing me the opportunity to present that to you.
Well, we appreciate your presenting that to the Board of County Commissioners, Mr. Troiano, and we look forward to having it back.
Hopefully at your next meeting you will see and we have to determine what simulated gambling is as it relates to the fish games that are also in there. So you have computer games that are the simulated gambling, and then you have the fish games, which are more of considered a game of chance. So we need to determine exactly how we're going to discuss that in the ordinance. It'll also have some information in there about a delay once the ordinance is passed, whatever its form may be, for those existing internet cafes, so they can come into compliance and have the time necessary to make those changes for their businesses. So hopefully then, and then the next meeting after that, going back to the board.
Well, we stand ready to do our job.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much.
Thank you again for the opportunity.
While you're up and while you're here, in case you get called out, I understand we're looking now at a date of March the 2nd for a day-long meeting with the Putnam County Board of Commissioners.
So you are the first to know. I just spoke with Commissioner Turner. So we are confirming, Nancy and Jenny, we are confirming for Tuesday, March the 2nd. It will be an all-day workshop with the board. We will be pushing forward with our advertisement. The meeting will start at 9 o'clock in this room. Mm-hmm. It will go to noon. From noon to noon to 1:30 will be lunch, and then from 1:30 to 5, I believe no later, depending on the consensus of the board, I would think that the meeting would adjourn sometime there, if not done earlier. Each of the members of the commission have been presented the book, so they had that prior to their workshop yesterday evening when they discussed this. So I'm glad that you brought that up, because I just got off the phone with him, and so yes, we're making that announcement, and we'll be putting out the notice.
And while March the 2nd,
Tuesday, March 2nd, 9 o'clock.
This will be a joint meeting between the Putnam County Planning Commission and the Board of County Commissioners, and it's when we will have our first opportunity to interact with them as a group to discuss the changes we made to the Putnam County Comprehensive Plan for 2020 to 2035. I know that some of you have conflicts during the day, and it's not easy to get here to turn loose for a whole day meeting. I will plan to be here that whole day, and any of you who can be there the whole day would be wonderful. If not, if you can come in and be here for a part of the time, that too would be wonderful. Because one of the things I hope that you will hear from the County Commission is their appreciation for all the work you did this past year. I don't have a count right now of the number of times we met, but it was a lot. And the number of times we really went over this with a fine-tooth comb. And I have told members of the commission that we couldn't have done it without you all. And that when it came time for reappointments, I certainly hoped that we would keep the board intact and that we would not have any surprises come January meetings so that we could move forward and cohesively into the next stage, which is the review and revision of the Land Development Code, which is going to take a little longer, actually, but we'll do it a little more controlled. So we'll keep that going. But just be aware that I have thanked you with the commissioners, and I have encouraged them to share with you their heartfelt appreciation for your stepping forward and doing your civic responsibility. And you have certainly done it with this process, and I can't say enough good things about you. With that said, Mr. Froelich is going to read our Pledge of Ethics, and we will go into the meeting.
Madam Chair, if I can have just I'm going to have to leave to go
Certainly.
to handle something else. Can I please have, after you're done with that, maybe 1 or 2 minutes more?
You can have 1 or 2 minutes more right now, Mr.
You sure?
Triano. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Again, I don't mean to take you out of the
No, sir.
course of your agenda.
Nope.
I just want to brief this commission on some of the changes happening in our planning and development section. As you know, that this is Mr. Brown's last week with us. Truly, the loss that we will suffer from that is huge. The shoes to be filled are great. And, you know, as I've said to Mike, and I'll say it again, Mike, thank you for everything that you've given, your time, your effort, the sweat that you've provided to this county and the staff and everyone else. It's greatly appreciated, and thank you so much. We certainly do appreciate that, and he will be missed dearly. He won't be far, though. Being in Clay County is not a far place. For the March 2nd meeting, it's my understanding that Mr. Suggs is going to be reaching out to Mike's supervisor or to their county administrator, and we hope to have Mr. Brown here for the March 2nd workshop. So we have hired a new planning manager. His name is Gabriel Quintus. Gabriel comes to us from Titusville. He will be starting on March the 8th. So starting next week, and I can't say to Mr. Salmons thank you enough for all that he's done for us, coming back from his retirement and helping us out in our time of need. Mr. Salmons will step up and be the interim planning manager until Mr. Quintus comes on board, and then there'll be a transition period after that to where Mr. Salmons will transition leadership over to Mr. Quintus. So we can have a smooth and effective transition process. Mike and John are working on that transition this week, and then John will hand over the torch to Mr. Quintus on the 8th when he comes. However, there'll be a training period, we hope either 1 or 2 weeks, just depending. So that's one of our biggest news, and if I may have Miss Wendy Hickey come up here for 1 minute. Wendy? So we were very fortunate. Do any of you all remember Adam Mingle that worked for Putnam County? Well, Adam is the, I guess he's the growth management director for Flagler County. A friend of mine, when I worked in Flagler, I knew him well. And just so happens that we were in the need of a senior planner. So I reached out one day to talk to Adam, and Wendy answered the phone, and I didn't know Wendy. And I said, hey, I'm looking for Adam. And she said, well, he's not here. Can I help you? And I said, I don't know, I think maybe, I hope so. Or I said, we're looking for a senior planner, and these are things we're looking for. And she said, well, I'm interested. So in front of you stands Miss Wendy Hickey. She is from Pomona Park, or the area there about. I'm close. County. Yeah. Instead of driving to Flagler County, she's now our senior planner. Has a tremendous amount of experience from Flagler County or in city, working in planning. She's very talented. We're very pleased with the hire. She's been a great addition so far to our team. So we're very happy to have stolen her from Flagler County and installed her as our newest senior planner. And so we're extremely happy, and I'll give you the mic for a second to say hello. No?
Oh, you can. Come on.
You're welcome. Just please.
Hi. It's really nice to meet you, and I probably will be in front of you not March 2nd, but your first meeting in March.
You'll be there with us March 2nd.
So,
Well, we appreciate all of your diligent work, Mr. Troiano, in getting this staff ramped back up. And Wendy, it's great to have you on board, and it's great to have somebody from my zip code to be here. It's wonderful, and I really appreciate all the work you've done. And I look forward to working with you, Wendy. And just fasten your seatbelt. It could be a bumpy ride every now and then.
that's what
but,
makes it exciting.
That's what keeps us going, absolutely. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything else, Jim?
No, ma'am, I won't take any more of your time, Madam Chair and members of the commission, so thank you very much. And again, I can't say how proud I am of our staff. We've got a great staff, Nancy and Jenny. They've made a lot of things happen for us, so we're all blessed, and again, we look forward to serving you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim. And the work that our staff did, getting those books out to us, 9 of us, and then getting them out to the Board of County Commissioners and all the other folks that need to see them that are accompanying the Board of County Commissioners was a monumental task. And we couldn't do what we do month by month if we didn't have you. And I hope you're here to stay for a long time. So thank you. Now, I've asked Mr. Troiano if he would read our statement of ethics, and we will then proceed into the meeting. Mr. Froelich, I'm sorry, did I say, you're on my mind, Jim, what can I say?
He'd be glad to, I'll let him read it. Some reverb. I know, I'm trying to.
We're roaring. You got us, okay.
We got it. As a member of the Putnam County Planning Commission, I pledge to come to meetings prepared for the items on the agenda, willing and ready to listen carefully and courteously to make informed decisions based on the facts presented and what I feel is the best interest of the people and businesses of Putnam County. I will refrain from unnecessary interruptions, and I will be appreciative of and respectful towards applicants, members of staff, and other members of this commission. I will support the decisions made by the majority, and I will be fair and objective in all that I do as a member of the Putnam County Planning Commission.
Thank you, Mr. Froelich. With that, I will read our introductory statement. This is pro forma, so just bear with us. This is a public hearing, and we are the Putnam County Planning Commission. We are the designated local planning agency for the county as described under Title 11, Chapter 163 of the Florida statutes, and we function under the authority of Articles 11 and 12 of the Putnam County Land Development Code. The primary responsibility of the commission is to serve as an advisory body to hear and make recommendations to the Board of County Commissioners on matters related to provisions of and proposed amendments to the Putnam County Comprehensive Plan and the Putnam County Land Development Code. The members of this committee will review each application and make a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners at a regularly scheduled meeting on March 23rd, 2021. Procedurally, we will call each case by name and number. A member of staff will then briefly explain to the nature of each request. We will take comments from the applicant or their representative, followed by any public comments concerning the request. Please direct all comments and statements to the commission and not to other members of the audience. Before speaking, we will ask you to come to the podium, be recognized, and identify yourself by your name and your address. After all persons wishing to speak have been heard, we will entertain a motion from the commission. The motion will be voted on by the commission members and become our recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners. The Board of County Commissioners will make the final determination regarding the application. Now, we're going to do a little out of order here. Staff has asked that we look at item B on the agenda, and they have asked that we vote about tabling this until the March 10th meeting. And this is case number PUD 21-004 ENN Development as an agent for Michael Revels for a zoning map from commercial retail to residential estate. So if I could have a motion to that effect, would appreciate that.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we table PUD 21-004 till
Thank
next
you.
month.
Okay. Do we vote on tabling, Mr. Perry, or do we? We do vote.
Madam Chair, just for the record, probably be a pretty good idea to go ahead and vote for it.
Okay.
You made a motion in a second, so go ahead.
All right, any discussion about tabling it? Any problems with that from anybody? Let's go ahead and vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we will do that, Mr. Brown. Thank you very much. At this time, I would like to ask the board if you have had any ex parte communication with any applicant or any agent of the applicant or any person wishing to give their opinion either for or against any of the cases we're about to hear. Board members? Also, I need to ask, are there any members who have a conflict of interest who need to recuse themselves from action on any particular case coming up before the board today? Hearing none, we will proceed then with case SM 20-002. Mr. Brown, you have the floor.
Madam Chair and Planning Commission, Mike Brown, Planning and Development Services. The first case before you is a small-scale map amendment, SM 20-001. The applicants is David and Christine Emerson, and the request is a small-scale future land use map amendment from commercial to Ag 1 on a single parcel totaling 9.65 acres. The parcel is located at 130 Pettit Road in Crescent City, and the zoning on the parcel is agriculture. Just a little background. The purpose of the request is to bring into compliance the future land use with the use of the parcel as for a single-family residence. The parcel is located in an area that contains both commercial and Ag 1 future land uses. Property to the north and west of Pettit Road is designated commercial on the future land use map, and Ag 1 future land use is south of the according to the county GIS, the parcel is not located within a special flood hazard area and does not contain any wetlands. Here's an aerial showing you the parcel in question. Here's the zoning, agriculture all around it. There is across Pettit Road to the west and to the north is a small existing parcel of residential mobile home, and there's a small existing mobile home park on that parcel. And as you can see, the commercial, and I made a mistake, I said Ag future land use was to the south. It's to the north and to the east. To the south is commercial. The existing future land use as commercial consists of areas intended to serve as primarily commercial locations into the future. And these are supposedly areas located in close proximity to concentrations of population and have good access to arterial or collector roads. In this case, commercial use allows for limited residential use that only serves as an accessory to a existing commercial use on the same property. The proposed future land use of A1 consists of areas used primarily for cropland, pasture, and other agricultural activities. Residential development is allowed in Ag 1 at a density of 1 dwelling unit per 10 acres with the ability to increase density up to a maximum of 1 to 5, subject to the density determinations and point score methodology provided in policy A194 of the comp plan. As I indicated previously, this area of the county is sparsely developed with single-family residents, and the parcel in question has a residential unit on it. Then there is a small mobile home park to the northwest, as I pointed out. Pettit Road is classified as a local road. The change in land use to Ag 1 would reduce the impacts such as traffic and other impacts that would be associated with a commercial development of the parcel. Pursuant to Section 50102B of the County Land Development Code, single-family residential unit will have de minimis effect on local road system. In other words, we do not measure single-family residential units against our concurrency system. The allowable uses and intensity of development allowed in the Ag 1 future land use, staff's belief, is compatible with the existing and proposed uses in the area. So with that, staff finds that the requested land use change from commercial to Ag 1 meets the locational requirements of the Ag 1 future land use found in policy A1939 of the adopted comp plan. The Ag 1 future land use is compatible with this existing and proposed surrounding uses, and that the proposed change to Ag 1 is consistent with the goals, objectives, and policies of the comp plan. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the future land use element from commercial to Ag 1 on the subject 9.65 acres. Is there any questions of staff?
I'm sorry, I turned it off so I wouldn't breathe into it. Yes, if you would come up and speak, state your names and addresses, or your name and address, and feel free to talk to us.
My name is David Emerson. This is my wife, Christina. We don't live, of course, at the property now, but we're at the campground down the road in Crescent City at Cherry Blossom, 2359 South US Highway 17, Crescent City. Anyway, before we bought the property in December, we closed on the property in December of 2019, right? We asked the realtor who we bought it through, what does it mean, when we looked at it, we saw commercial and agricultural is what we saw, the two terms. And she said, well, what that means, she knew we were going to plan on putting after I retired, to put a mobile home, manufactured home on the property. She says, well, that means you can put a manufactured home on the property and you could run your business. If you had a business, you could run it out of that. Whether that was correct or not, I don't know. Okay, so then, not taking just her word for it, we came here to next door, 2 doors down, and spoke to the nice black lady there at the desk. And she printed this out for us.
Okay, that would need to be, please give a copy to Mrs. Brown so it can be made a part of the record if you'd like to present that to us.
So we came, because we built a house before, and my friend who's the contractor says, always get a letter stating that you can do what you want to do on this property. So that's what we came to you guys, down the hall here.
Yep, permitting.
Permitting. The lady says, she printed it off and she says, well, if you want to give me your $40 or $50, I'll be happy to take it. But I can tell you, you can put a manufactured home, you can build a house on it. And I said, oh, really? And so we took her word for it. And then I said, well, what about septic? Can we put a septic system on the property? I mean, that's a logical question. So she will talk to the health, around the corner, talk to the lady in the health department. So I talked to, I assume it's the health department. And she says, we went there and she said, yeah, no problem. You can put a septic system on the property. So we were given that information. It sounds like the wrong information is what I'm gathering.
It was printed from your thing on 11.
On the mic.
It was printed, if you look at that note, I put a yellow marker. It was printed from her office on 11, even before we did not want commercial. We wanted to spend time together. You know, something.
Anyway,
It's okay.
Yeah,
We're going to help you fix
I'm really
it.
sorry, because we want to spend time together before I have to go and do dialysis.
Oh, I'm so
So-
sorry.
So,
This was a time to
yeah.
spend
So
together.
it sounds like there was a comedy of errors,
Cascading, it looks like.
Cascading, yes. Medical term, right? And we even spoke to the listing agent a few months back, and he says, oh yeah, I guess, and it was advertised, this way, that you could, you have to do due diligence, it said. Okay, so I guess he gets out of it that way. But he says, oh yeah, by the way, it is commercial. So at least he had the guts to speak up and say, yeah, it's commercial. But our real estate agent, she didn't call us back. But I'm disappointed that we came here and spoke to someone I thought who was in authority, maybe she's not, and we were told, given wrong information, misinformation. If that was the case, we probably wouldn't have bought it, but of course, we're into it now, and it sounds positive what's coming out of this, so we appreciate that. But I just thought you should know that, what happened.
We certainly appreciate your bringing that to our attention, and I know that our staff strives to make sure that everything we do is consistent with the current rules and regulations and ordinances and comp plan and land development code and all of that. I can't explain what happened to you. I can say that as chairman of this board, I am deeply sorry that you've experienced this, but I am ever so happy to welcome you to my zip code. It's the second time today I've gotten to say that. And I rode by your house, and it looks like you're going to have a really nice place to be. And we see no problem with moving forward. Mr. Brown, I'm going to put you on the spot. Is there any way to provide monetary relief to this couple
That would be
for
that would
having
be-
to,
that can only be approved by the Board of County Commissioners.
Okay.
I don't have the authority to do that.
okay? Is there precedent for something like that?
I don't recall, but I can't speak prior to my time
Okay.
here.
Welcome to Putnam County.
Thank you,
We do try to do better,
we appreciate
and we're
it.
just so glad to have you in our area.
Thank you for listening,
Certainly,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Is there anyone else who would like to speak either for or against this particular application? Hearing none, I will bring this back to the board for discussion. Mr. Danzler, what are your thoughts?
I see no problem with it. It's not heavily populated.
Microphone, sorry.
Sorry. I have no problems with it. It's not a heavily commercial area anyway, so it's not like you're taking a single-family residential and putting it in a major commercial area, so I can't help that.
Jacob, if there's anything you can do to remedy that situation.
There it is. Maybe I need to pull it closer. But anyway, I'm in favor for it. See no reason to be against it.
Mr. Froelich?
Turn my mic on. No, I have no problem with it. I was there today. It's just, it really shouldn't have been commercial to begin with, is where it
Well,
was at, kind of, sort of.
I
To me.
remember, Mr. Hafner and I might remember when that happened. I think it was going to be some sort of a storage facility.
Is that the one?
No, I think so. I'm not sure, but part of it may have been. So that's why it was kind of spot zoned out there.
Okay.
Mr. Hafner?
Problem with it.
Nope. You turned the green on the
Oh, that
microphone.
one over there, what is this one?
You don't want to do that.
Uh-oh,
Don't touch that one.
time to get here quick.
Bring it closely so we can hear you.
I have no problem whatsoever with this request.
Thank you.
Support it.
Mr. Schwing?
I believe we've already issued permits and the house is installed, so
Microphone.
I've got it on.
Get it closer. You got to have it close.
Won't go no closer.
The longer course.
You got to eat it.
I believe everything's been taken care of except for our little thing we got to do. So welcome.
Mr. DeSantis?
No problems whatsoever.
Ms. Weaver?
No problems.
Okay. Then I will entertain a motion to either approve or deny this request.
I move that we approve the recommendation for the amendment to be Ag 1 as recommended.
Thank you. Do I hear a second? I'll second. Okay, I'm going to count Mr. Hafner because I was looking at him. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Anyone voting against? Mr. and Ms. Emerson, please accept our apologies and our welcome. This will now move on to the Board of County Commissioners, and I'm going to step out of line a little bit probably and talk to the chairman of the board about possibly looking at any kind of monetary relief, because you were put through the ringer and told one thing and then you had to do another. So we made a mistake there, and I hope we can rectify it. But thank you so much for being here, and thank you for looking at Putnam County as a place to retire. I think you'll like it. It's a nice little quiet place. We'll move on to RC 001, which is item C on your agenda. Mr. Brown, are you presenting that case? Okay.
I'm doing all, it's my show.
We're just going to get our goodies out of you today, aren't we?
My
last
last meeting with you,
chance.
it's on the whole show.
No, we get him on March the 2nd. He'll be back.
R 21-001 the applicant is Barry Dufek. Agent is John Key. The request is a zoning map amendment of a single parcel from commercial professional office to commercial retail C2. The property is located at 1023 State Road 20 in Interlochen, or just east of Interlochen, in the southwest corner of the intersection of State Road 20 and Southeast Street. Just as a background, the parcel is designated urban reserve on the future land use map and is 0.7 acres in size. The parcel has approximately 130 feet of frontage on State Road 20 and 150-foot frontage on Southeast Street. There are no wetlands or special flood hazard areas on the parcel. The parcel does have a two-story commercial structure on it, and the parcel was rezoned in 2003 from R2 to CPO. So it's going back to where it was originally, or that's the request. Here's an aerial showing you the parcel. Future land use, it's all urban reserve all around it. And the zoning, you can see it's CPO with R2 to the west and south, and C2 to the east, and commercial and residential to the north across Highway 20. Looking at the comp plan designation of urban reserve, that's areas that are close proximity to municipalities and the urban service land use designations. The urban reserve, though, however, many of the areas have not been provided with a full range of the urban type infrastructure. Neighborhood commercial and community commercial uses are permitted, subject to the standards for those commercial uses provided in the comprehensive plan in the future land use element. Community commercial uses shall be located on sites that have direct access to a paved road with a collector or higher roadway classification. The existing zoning of commercial professional office provides a commercial zoning district for professional office uses in the rural center, urban reserve, and urban service and commercial future land use classifications. The proposed C2 commercial retail zoning district provides for a commercial zoning district for light commercial uses, which can include retail, both general and specific retail uses, again, allowed in the rural center, urban service, urban reserve, and commercial future land use classifications. The uses associated with the requested C2 zoning are allowed in the urban service future land use category. State Road 20 is a 4-lane divided principal arterial with an adopted level of service D. There is adequate capacity on State Road 20 to support any development that would take place on this parcel. The use of this parcel at C2 would not result in any non-residential traffic passing through established neighborhoods, because it has direct access onto State Road 20. And again, as I pointed out earlier, there's no wetlands or special flood hazard areas on the parcel. This is an area of the county that is transitioning to a more suburban uses. Since the widening of 20 to a 4-lane divided facility in this area, neighborhood and community commercial uses have developed along this corridor. The parcel directly to the east was rezoned to C2 in 2009. And if you did the site visit, you saw that there was commercial across State Road 20 from this parcel. Development of the site will be required to meet the buffering and screening requirements of Article 7 of the Land Development Code, and it's staff's belief that these buffering and screening requirements will be adequate enough to protect adjacent uses from the C2 zoning district, and that's primarily the residential to the rear and to the west. With that, staff finds that the proposed rezoning to C2 is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the adopted future land use map, is consistent with the locational requirements for C2 zoning found in the Land Development Code, and is compatible with the surrounding uses. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the zoning map from commercial and professional office to commercial retail for the subject parcel. Do you have any questions of staff?
Any questions of Mr. Brown? Okay, hearing none. Is the owner applicant in the audience and would like to speak? Or the owner's agent? Okay, please come forward and state your name and address and tell us what you'd like to tell us.
John Key, 415 St. John's Avenue, beautiful downtown Palatka. I just want to agree 100% with the staff recommendation that the property be rezoned. I think there's a better use for the property as a C2 than it is as a professional office building. So with that said, I appreciate the Commission's consideration.
Are there any questions of Mr. Key? Okay, hearing none, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak either for or against this application? Okay, hearing none, I will bring it back to the Commission for your comments or a motion, you know.
I went out and looked at it, and I see no problem with it. It seems like it's a good fit for either one, commercial or an office or retail. So I would like to make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Joel.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Mr. Froelich? Any discussion concerning this that anyone would like to make? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. All opposed? Very well. We have adopted this. This will go on as a recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners at their March 23rd meeting. So that will be your next public appearance. So we thank you very much for being here, and we'll move on to item D on our agenda, which is an application from Thomas M. and James Matthew Parham, and it's case number R21002. Mr. Brown.
Madam Chair, R21-002 is an application for rezoning map amendment of a single parcel from R2 residential 2 to commercial retail C2. The applicant is Thomas and James Parham. The parcel is located in the southeast corner of State Road 207 and East Lewis Brower Road. Address is 101 East Lewis Brower Road in East Palatka. Just some background again. The parcel is designated commercial on the future land use map. Parcel is approximately 0.69 acres in size, has 170-foot frontage on State Road 207 and 75-foot of frontage on East Lewis Brower. There are no wetlands or special flood hazard areas, and the parcel is vacant. There's an aerial showing the location of the parcel. You can see the future land use is commercial. There is commercial to the north, south, and west, with urban service to the east. And the zoning is rural residential. You see there is commercial zoning across 207. To the north, you have ag zoning, and again, residential 2 zoning to just immediately to the south, and to the east, further down to the south, to C4 zoning and C3 zoning fronting 207. The commercial category on the future land use map consists of areas intended to serve as primarily commercial locations into the future. And again, these are areas that are located close proximity to concentrations of population and have good access to an arterial or collector roads. The commercial future land use does limit residential use to uses that residential uses that are let me start again. Lost my train of thought. That are limited. Residential uses are limited and have to be supportive of any commercial use that's on the parcel and can be occupied by the owner or employees. The existing R2 zoning district is a residential zoning district that provides for residential uses that are inclusive of mobile homes. The proposed C2 zoning district provides for a commercial zoning district for light commercial land uses in the rural center, urban service and urban reserve, and commercial future land uses classifications. And again, the commercial future land use limits residential uses to only those.
Mike, excuse me, you have to eat the mic today. Speak into it directly somehow. It's not,
Okay.
not picking up.
All right. Sorry. Again, as I pointed out, residential uses in the commercial future land use are only allowed as accessory uses to commercial uses on the subject parcel. The R2 zoning limits the ability to utilize the parcel for commercial uses. Uses associated with the requested C2 zoning district are allowed in the urban reserve future land use, or actually the commercial future land use category. State Road 207 is a 4-lane divided principal arterial with adopted level of service D, and there is adequate capacity on State Road 207 to support development of this parcel with commercial uses. The county water and sewer is available in the vicinity of the site, and there's adequate capacity available to both the county sewer and water to support the commercial development of the site. Non-residential traffic from any development on this parcel will not be required to pass through established neighborhoods. And again, there's no wetlands or special flood hazard areas on the parcel. Through the adoption of this parcel with commercial uses on the future land use map, the county has determined that commercial uses should be allowed there. There is as we see often in this county, there is a conflict between the zoning and the future land use. This will clean that up and allow the property to be used as a commercial use. Commercial development on the parcel will not result in significant non-residential traffic passing through established neighborhoods. Development on the site will be, again, required to meet the buffering and screening requirements of section 70303 of the Land Development Code, and its staff belief that these requirements are adequate to protect adjacent residential uses from any uses allowed within the C2 zoning district. Staff finds that the proposed request to rezone the parcel to C2 is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use map, is consistent with the locational requirements of the C2 zoning district found in the Land Development Code, is compatible with the surrounding uses. Staff recommends approval of the request to amend the zoning map from R2 to commercial retail C2 for the subject parcel. Do you have any questions of staff?
Yes. The property, Mike, on the north, I think it'd be the northeast corner, kind of zigzags next to 207. Is that like a state right-of-way, or?
I
the
believe it
property's
is,
not
but
square.
I can't swear to that. I believe it is probably state right away, but I would have to research that to
Okay,
find
no
out for
problem. I
sure.
just,
Egress.
Yeah.
Ingress or egress.
yeah, I know, it's kind of,
Never seen
Yeah.
it before.
okay.
Any other questions of Mr. Brown? Hearing none, is the owner applicant or their agent here that would like to speak today?
I had one
Oh,
question.
I'm sorry, Joel, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Mr. Brown, on this property, if it was commercial, would they access the smaller road, or would they go out to 207? Because that smaller road's
They will
pretty
need a
small.
permit, they will have to get a permit from DOT to access off at 207. I would hazard to guess there may be a question about the proximity to the intersection, but I don't want to say it would prevent them from accessing 207. If they're accessing East Lewis Brower, they would have to get a permit, a driveway permit from the county on that. But I believe the intent would be to try to access off 207.
I guess depending on what they decided to put there, they would probably have to make improvements on
Oh, yeah.
on the East Briar Road.
Yeah, if they're going to access,
Roads
get a
as well.
they could get a driveway permit to access East Lewis Brower, the county would more than likely, I don't want to speak for Public Works, but more than likely require some improvements between that driveway and 207.
Okay.
Any other questions of Mr. Brown?
I have one.
Okay, Mr. Swing?
Mike, on the application, the purpose for the rezoning is left blank. Do we really know what they're going to do?
Doesn't matter.
No, all I know
I know
is
it doesn't matter, I just,
something that would be allowed under the C2 zoning district.
okay.
Anybody else have a question of Mr. Brown? Hearing none. Is the owner or the owner's agent here, and would the owner or owner's agent like to come forward and address the board? Okay, we did hear that he would not be here. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against this particular action? Hearing none, I'm going to bring it back to the board for your discussion and action and/or action. What is the board's pleasure? All right, folks.
Go ahead, Joel.
I'll move that we approve the rezoning, or recommend that we approve the rezoning from the R2 to the retail C2.
Thank you, Tom. Do I hear a second? Joel seconds it. It's really bad when I have Joel, Joey, and Joe up here. Thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Mr. Brown. Under new business, we do commend to you yesterday's Board of Commissioners meeting. You might want to watch it. It's available on YouTube. It was quite entertaining, not entertaining, but informative, and it was good to watch. And it was something that directly impacted what we had worked on last month, or 2 weeks ago, actually. So I have asked Mr. Perry to put together a short, 15 minutes or less, refresher for us at the next meeting on the Florida Sunshine Law and on ex parte communication, so that we have a firm understanding and everybody's on the same page with what is required of us and how we are to conduct ourselves and conduct our business. So Mr. Perry's going to prepare that for us and present that to us next week as our council. And we appreciate, not next week, next month. We get a whole month off this time. We were back to that 2-week stuff, and that was messing with my brain. Is there any other new business that needs to come before the board? Mr. Brown, I said it last meeting, and I'll say it again. You are going to be missed. Your shoes are huge, and filling them, I know, has not been an easy process for Mr. Troiano. And I think it's stupendous that we already have someone ready to assume responsibilities in March and help us move forward with this very important unit of Putnam County government. We're seeing activity in Putnam County. We're seeing growth. We're seeing cases come before us. And that just tells us that something's happening right and something's going well. So, Mike, go with our blessings, go with our respect.
Thank you, Madam Chair. If I could just have 30 seconds.
You may.
I just would like to thank this board. It's been a privilege to serve with you, and to do the work we've done, and the previous members on this commission. I'm biased, but I think it's one of the more important commissions and one of the more important positions that you pointed to outside of the elected county commissions. I mean, the work that you do as planning commission affects the future of this county for the long term, not only the short term, the long term. And a perfect example is what you've just finished with the comp plan and the changes you're proposing. The board will decide what they will decide, but I think if they come through with the majority of that, I think you've set up the county to be successful into the future and enhance. I think you'll see more wanting to come here. I mean, I've told this story numerous times. I've met over the last 8 to 9 years with many developers that wanted to do stuff that said, we can't do it with the limited densities that are allowed in this county. That and the infrastructure. Well, the county commission has started that move and bitten at that and starting to put in infrastructure, water and sewer. With your recommendations to the board, which I hope they will follow, the density issue will be taken care of. And I think that will open up some opportunities for the county. But I just wanted to thank you. We'll see if my new boss allows me to be here on the 2nd. I'll be here on the 2nd to help go through all the changes that are proposed in the comp plan. So with that, I wish you good luck into the future, and I'll be the last time I sit on this side. Maybe I'll sit on that side, in the front one, so next time.
Well, we thank you, Mike, and
Thank you.
it's been a pleasure. Very definitely has been a pleasure. I've learned immense amount of things from you, and you've been a good teacher to us, so we appreciate that. The only other thing we have on the agenda, unless there's any other new business, is the approval of the minutes of the January 27th meeting, which you will find in your packet. Are there any changes, corrections, additions, deletions to the minutes that you are aware of or you feel like need to be made?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, let's call for the vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes of January 27th meeting, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Any opposed? We have approved the minutes of January 27th. And folks, getting these minutes out to us in a shorter period of time as they've done it is monumental. That was a very detailed, extensive meeting. And not only do they take notes here, they have to transcribe those notes, they have to listen to the audio, make sure they incorporate every element that was discussed and voted upon. And putting those minutes together is no easy task. So Nancy and Jenny, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. Is there any other business to come before the board? Mr. Sherrar, you came and you didn't speak? You came and you didn't speak?
All the decisions were right this time.
Makes my heart sing, Craig. Take care. This was a good meeting, folks, and it's 4:56, and I hereby adjourn the meeting of the Putnam County Planning Commission.